David Price has once again called out Anthony Joshua. Now, we all know that Joshua is looking for an opponent for November, December time. Hughie Fury has passed up the opportunity basically because he needs to sort himself out. He needs to find a resolution to this situation with UKAD and this alleged failed drug test. So both the AJ side and the Fury side understand that that fight can't take place until those issues are resolved. We know that AJ's been talking to Kubrat Pulev and Bermud Stavern, and obviously he's got his mandatory with Joseph Parker. But there seems to be very little, going forward with those particular fights. At this time, I haven't heard anything for a while about any of those fights, and you would have thought that they could have got one of those opponents signed by now. So in steps David Price, and he's responding directly to I don't really want to say a challenge from Anthony Joshua, because you have to read the previous tweets from Joshua to put it in context. He was responding, I think, to Eddie Hearn, who was talking to a couple of people on Twitter and a couple of potential opponents. And Joshua said, to all potential challengers, please don't waste our time with fake hype, serious applications only. And David Price stepped in and replied, I fit the bill. 2 Olympians. Fuck what people say. We both know what happened last time we shared a ring. Now, I've gone into this in several videos previously. There was a rumor a long time ago, which I did cover on my channel. I think I was one of the first people to talk about this rumor on YouTube, because I'd heard this. I'd been sent a private message, and I'd also heard this from a couple people who I know on the circuit, as it were in London, in the gyms. And I'd heard that Anthony Joshua was dropped heavily, some people say knocked out, by David Price in sparring when Joshua was still an amateur. This was quite a while before the Olympics. I think it might have even been before the World Championships. Maybe some of you who are privy to this information could correct me if I'm wrong, but it was definitely when Joshua was still an amateur. And they say David Price dropped him or knocked him out. Is that still playing in the back of Joshua's mind? Would he risk it against David Price? Obviously, he'd be a big favorite. Most people would imagine that Joshua would be able to land on Price's chin before Price could land on his. But stranger things have happened in boxing. Everybody has their boogeyman. It wouldn't shock me if when they fought, David Price managed to land a shot and win the title. I mean, he shouldn't. Joshua is the better fighter. But when you're talking about heavyweight boxing and these guys hitting with tremendous force, if you've got a particular style that can take another guy out, these kind of things can happen. A good example would be back in the 90s, there was I believe he was Russian, or he was definitely Eastern European at least, heavyweight called Oleg Maskayev. He did hold the WBC heavyweight title for a very short time. Now, Maskayev was a decent amateur back in the old Eastern Bloc, and he apparently, according to him and according to many others, knocked out Vitaly Klitschko in 2 rounds when they were amateurs. Klitschko has tried to deny it, but Klitschko also tried to deny the fact that he got knocked out by Pele Reid in a kickboxing fight. And that is 100% true. He did get knocked out. That's even on YouTube. You can go see Vitaly Klitschko get knocked out by Pele Reid in a kickboxing fight when he was very young. And that's something that Vitaly denied for many years. But when the footage came out, it was obvious he was lying. Or maybe that knockout gave him amnesia. I don't know. He did the same thing with Oleg Maskayev, although no footage has come out of this Maskayev fight. But yeah, Maskayev says he knocked Klitschko out. Klitschko says he didn't get knocked out by Maskayev, but he certainly didn't deny the fact that they fought as amateurs. Anyway, I'm digressing badly here. Maskayev had 2 fights with Hasim Rahman. The same Hasim Rahman that knocked out Lennox Lewis. And both times, Hasim Rahman got drilled late in the fight by Oleg Maskayev in fights he was winning. It was extraordinary. And I remember an interview with Hasim Ratman where he was talking about Oleg Muskaev. He was like, I don't know what it is with that guy, but I'll be outboxing him and somehow he just catches me in the 12th round every time and knocks me. I don't know how the hell this happens. In the first fight, he got knocked clean out the ring by Muskaev in the 12th round. I believe it was the 12th round. Hopefully my memory serving me correct, but I believe it was the 12th round when he got knocked out in the first fight. It might have been the 12th round when he got knocked out in the rematch as well. I know it was late in the fight both times. And to my recollection, Ratman was winning both times. And Ratman said in the interview, if we fought again, he'd probably knock me out again in the 12th round again. When I'm ahead on points. There's just something about the guy I just can't get to grips with. He just has a style. He's my boogeyman. This is what Hasim Ratman basically said in that interview. Could David Price be something similar to Anthony Joshua? Could he be his boogeyman? Does he know how to land his shots on Joshua's chin? And there are those who are questioning Anthony Joshua's punch resistance after the Dillian Whyte fight. They reckon he don't take a great shot. They reckon Dillian Whyte's power is overrated. And it was more a case of Joshua having a weak chin rather than Whyte having any type of serious punching power. I'm not saying I agree with that, but this is what people are saying out there. This seems to be a fairly popular consensus view. So let me know how you feel about this, people. David Price calling out Anthony Joshua. Will it happen? Do you think Joshua should accept the challenge and take it? Or do you think it's too high a risk with very little reward? If he knocks out David Price, isn't that what he's supposed to do? People will call it a joke fight if he knocks out Price. But if Price knocks him out, wow, that's going to set Anthony Joshua back a long, long way. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below, people. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.